Welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, episode 108. I had a video playing of Space Force playing in the background. My bad. I forgot I left that out.
Space Force.
Oh, we'll talk.
Trump.
We will talk.
That's Trump Space Force.
we will talk.
Excuse me.
We will talk about that in a few minutes. But one of the bigger things to talk about right now is what is going on in the Middle East. Looks like looks like war is happening. Nobody really thought that the Iranians and the Israelis would really go at it, but that's kind of what it's looking like. I still have my contact over in that part of the world. That's how I kind of knew that the Golan Heights would have been was the first place to get hit. I hate to say this, but I kind of saw this coming, with Netanyahu, calling out the Iranians and, with their nuclear deal, and then Trump talking about getting rid of the nuclear deal with Iran. And the next thing I know, there's missiles being shot back and forth over, near Golan Heights. Everybody in that part of the world, I don't know if you guys, can read Arabic or Hebrew outlets, but it's what they're talking about is, that this is the preset for war, regardless of what the major media organizations are saying. Where they're saying that Israel doesn't want an active more conflict, but that's not how the other side feels. In fact, the Iranians are saying that they're going to hit back again. So.
Israel plays a dangerous games, man.
It is, and I do, and in the contact that I do have, out there, they are telling me that, that the Israelis are saying that, Netanyahu wants a war, and, there's a lot of people that are, not for this. In fact, there's a lot of people that live in the Golan Heights area, despite it being, international. It doesn't exactly belong to Syria, and it doesn't exactly belong to Israel either. But it is occupied by the Israelis. No, this isn't a good situation, and I do see the backing out of the Iranian nuclear agreement and what is going on over right now in Golan Heights. I do see this a presets for the United States actively making an excuse to go to war with Iran. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's a continuing agenda. But Israel plays a dangerous game, man. I mean, they have a lot to lose in all this. If they pile up enough enemies over there, I don't see how they get out of it.
I mean, they did tell the Lebanese that the fighting wouldn't spill over into Lebanon, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's a never-ending thing, man. It's been going on since, before a lot of us were even thought of.
Old Testament.
Yeah.
I think it's grievances and from way back then.
You remember? God, it was a Mossad. It was a Mossad virus. Stuxnet. Remember that? Stuxnet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where they got a Mossad agent to go into Iran, and because essentially they have a closed system, and they uploaded a virus which overheated the I think the cooling system, or didn't allow the cooling system for the rods for the nuclear power plant or whatever they were doing out there. Kind of fucked that shit up. I mean,
it was for the
centrifuges, yeah.
That's how corrupted that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. I start talking about Mossad stuff, and my shit crashed.
Keyword.
That's crazy.
Trigger.
I don't know. Remember who was it? Weren't we talking about trying to go after the Iranians what not too long ago?
What was that for?
God, It
Well,
had
they're in.
had it been around 2010. I forget what the fuck it was about.
Oh, they're a part of OPEC, aren't they? I assume for petroleum exporting countries.
I'm not
Oh,
sure.
yeah, I would think so. But they're always in southern Lebanon and Hezbollah, and same thing in Syria. They're in there now. I mean, that's why they're getting hit,
Yeah,
whether they admit to it or not.
yeah. I don't. And Syria is also saying that Israel hit Syrian targets. So I mean, that's kind of debatable. Um, don't know who's really telling the truth unless you're on the ground.
Yeah, you don't know unless you're there.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, the Syrians are saying that they found an outpost depot, with Israeli weapons, and and you couldn't tell, like, if by the pictures they were sending out that they were really Israeli weapons. No markings, no markings. What it looked like, it was like it kind of looked like they had rockets and missiles, but they didn't necessarily look like they were something that the IDF would use. But then again, I'm not a military expert. But I think a telltale sign of an Israeli weapon would have probably Hebrew letters all over it, and I didn't see any of that shit. So
Unmarked Raytheons.
yeah, I mean, with all this shit going on, like I thought that Alex would have thrown Trump out of the bus. I don't see. Here's the thing: is like what Trump
No,
what
man.
what Trump did this week is like a double edged sword. We could have. Do I think that the Iranian nuclear deal was a shit show to begin with? Of course it was. Was this a great time to pull out of that agreement right now, knowing what we know was happening in Florida? Probably not. You know.
Well, he seems headstrong about finishing this thing off. You got to Israel needs Jerusalem needs to be the capital. You need to get the third temple built. You need to get this Greater Israel project going. And I mean, they're doing it, man. I mean, there's an agenda here that's pretty obvious if you know what to look for.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
A lot to be gained and a lot to be lost.
Yeah, that's always a big gamble. It's just like, well, hey, if somebody gets nuked wrong, well, oh well. I mean, you're taking that chance. Somebody gets pissed off, and
Especially in that part of the world, it's so volatile. I think, like, I do know if somebody, if another foreign nation got their hands on some nuclear weapons, like I'm almost positive somebody would detonate it in that part of the world. With as much shit that goes on.
Oh, yeah, or a nice EMP or something.
Uh, yeah.
Earthquake.
You
well, they've hit a couple of ammo when they go off.
So sorry, what did you say?
They've hit some ammo dumps over there in Syria here a few times. I mean, those things have been pretty spectacular when they've blown up. You actually get a small earthquake out of the thing.
Oh, yeah. I bet a couple of 4th of July shows going on.
Yeah, that's kind of what the Israelis were saying that they hit with the weapons, with the rockets they had fired. Is that they were hitting key strategic points that were military and weapons outposts. I think they're saying out of all of the shit that has gone forth, there's only been 3 casualties, but I don't know. I can't verify it. Like there quite well could have been none.
I don't like that bombing and stuff. Telling what you're blowing up some kind of chemical weapon that was there waiting to go somewhere else, or
Yeah, I mean that's another fear. I mean, knowing what Assad and the Syrian forces are doing, when the Israelis doing is like, are the Israeli people really, willing to go through a chemical attack? Because that's what that would be a secondary form of attack. And there was even talk now, that I was reading from some outside U.S. sources that the Iranians might not actually retaliate again with like a rocket attack or or something local. They say that they might attack like an Israeli embassy somewhere else, and that might be how they retaliate. But
Oh yeah.
these are all kind of like speculations. And I think the source that I got said that the Iranians have attacked in the past have attacked Israeli embassies before.
Well, they can always hit hotels. I mean, there's lots of ways to do it. It's just
Yeah, let's not give them ideas.
it's always soft targets. You know, there's plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, if this thing escalates, you know, I hate to say this, but I do see this a precept to World War III. You know, I really do. You know, people were saying, when the Russians started engaging in Syria, that was a preset, but this could be it.
And what is this all over a cow? I'm just curious. I don't mean to insult anybody. Is it over a cow, a goat, a chicken? Somebody drop an egg on somebody's hat?
You know, as far as the wider agenda, I'm not exactly entirely sure, but you know, on the surface level, it looks like, well, fuck you. You're trying to kill me. I'm going to try and kill you first, or you know, that's pretty much what it's looking like.
Yeah, it's not hard to set them off tribally, but I mean, they do want to drive you to Armageddon and Judgment Day and all that. I mean, that's really what they're after. I mean, you have to remember what the people who have the money what they're doing, because.
And you know what's funny is that Golan Heights is not far from Megiddo. You know,
Imagine that, yeah.
I'm not being biblical and shit, but I'm like, you know, it was kind of described. You know, if you kind of read some old religious books, you know, there's some shit that's gonna go down.
Yeah, they're serious about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, to me, it's like, you know, rather than a blueprint for what to do, you know, it's there's a lesson there of what not to do.
You know, you don't have to do that. Yeah.
You don't have to do this, but hey, if you want to, you know, blow shit up, okay, you know, for no good reason.
Yeah, this happened a long time ago. Look, we screwed up. Don't do this. This is a history lesson. Don't do it again.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the lesson.
What was Alex saying? Is that this is part of the wider agenda from the globalists? I've been listening to him for like the last 2 fucking
no,
days.
he's shilling, man. It's all 4D chess that we're too stupid to figure out.
He said he reverse engineered it all. I was like, Alex, you've been hitting the crack pipe too long.
Yeah, you know, there's a point where, you know, shilling becomes obvious. It's just like, come on, get a break, man.
I mean, like you and on.
Yeah, we'll get to QAnon.
Yeah,
we'll get to QAnon in a little bit. Yeah, that's another thing will be addressed. We'll get back to the Israel Iran stuff. But what I do want to get is that something that's been going on in the background is that a popular messaging site. Like correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the Iranian government has actively tried to block and censor internet and specifically messaging platforms from getting out of the country. And now, you know, a popular messaging application, specifically Telegram, has been officially blocked by the Iranian government. So, which is their reasoning is it's used by ISIS, which is true. And specifically, it's a messaging platform. It's not completely unhackable, but it is one of the more popular, secure messaging platforms. And I don't think that the government actually likes it when government doesn't like it when they can't see what you're saying back and forth. Which I think is like a cop-out because they just want to have intelligence on everybody and all the messages be sent in clear text instead of encryption. But straight out of the box, you know, Telegram is one of the few messaging applications that allows you to use proxies built in.
Speaking of
Oh,
Telegram,
wow.
when's the last time anyone actually used Morse code?
Military or non-military? Because the military still uses that.
Anyone in general. I mean,
God, I had to been
I
like
don't know.
12.
Some of these people that are out there in the snow or something. I mean, they put out an SOS. I don't know about. Well, yeah, they'll blink it with a mirror or something like that. I mean, I think it gets done. It's not very often though. Not many people know it.
it's like a lost art there.
Well, imagine so. I mean, you could always encrypt, if you had a completely different interpretation of what the dots and dashes means, you could probably build an encryption on top of Morse code. So, and then on top of that, what was it? Russia does the same shit, and they've officially completely 100% blocked Telegram within Russia, and people have in that part of the world have been still getting access to Telegram using virtual private networks and proxies, but the Russian government has gone a little further, and they've been banning the VPN, which is something like I was under the impression when you showed me that article that I was under the impression as of November of last year that Russia was going to ban VPNs indefinitely, and I guess that wasn't the case. Maybe I just got my intel wrong, but I guess they've been.
Maybe it was an implementation.
It could have been. Yeah, it could have been. It could have been the start of a ban of sorts of the VPN. I mean, there maybe it could have been. Go ahead.
Yeah, when they start talking like that, they're telling you it's coming. It's not long, 6 months to a year. That's the lead into, we're actually going to do this. We're telling you now, but 6 months from now, it's actually going to happen.
Yeah, and soon to come to the United States,
Oh yeah,
world that is.
We've already had our first case, where somebody got a death penalty in the world for using a virtual private network, and that happened in China because they are completely banned over there.
Oh yeah, and they've caught I think 7 or 8 of them. Selling data and data logs to the government. They're already breaking them down too.
Yeah, I mean, VPN, in general, is no guarantee at all that they're not logging it. Even if they aren't logging it, there's still a log of sorts somewhere. And I think there are very few VPNs that that can back up what they're saying legally. I mean, because all it really takes, is depending on where you live, I mean, here in the United States, it would be a search warrant of sorts. But why would any informed user use a U.S. based VPN? There was remember Proton Mail? They have one in Switzerland that they were saying that they don't log, and they even if Interpol came, because of the laws out there, that they couldn't search the VPN regardless. But a fellow Black Hat told me that they have been even that's been reverse engineered. So and they were logging. So it's kind of like I mean, a VPN.
Yeah, there's no place to hide. It's like the Swiss banks. They used to be the place to hide, and then now there's no cover there. The IRS wants something, they just threaten the Swiss banks and they give it to them. I mean, it's not like it used to be.
No, you can't. They're making things much more. They're making that aspect of anonymity a criminal act, and or they're making it easier to. I mean, they're making it much harder for that layer of anonymity to even be there. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's for special people. Yeah, it's only for special people. See, you were right. If we had enough money to qualify, they'd find a way to keep us off. It's like, well, you're a nobody. But it's amazing how people who have a lot of money, or in politics and all, they get that special coverage. You don't get to be anonymous, but they do.
Yeah, I mean, I think wasn't it the DoD? They're using 512-bit like encryption, so some crazy shit.
Well, yeah, if you secure 512, 1024.
Yeah, some ultra set DoD standards that would take your even if you tried to decrypt it, it would take your computer literally like hundreds of years.
Yeah, I think Nord says they do 2048, but I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on over there.
Yeah, once you start getting those big numbers with data data encryption, the file size just start getting that much bigger.
Yeah,
that's when it becomes like impractical.
Yeah, you no longer have any bandwidth. It's all being soaked up in latency and friggin'.
I mean, that's even
encryption traffic.
Even if you were sending Word documents, like a 256, 256, mega or a 2 megabyte file like increases like 20-fold, turns into a 20 megabyte file. Just imagine, and that's like a short what, two page essay Word document. So just imagine what it's like if you're trying to send massive amounts of information encrypted.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I guess, I guess in theory they still have Tor. They have some way of getting out in these countries. I mean, is that still true? Or
you know what's funny is I believe yes in China there still are ways. Connect me if I'm wrong, but I do remember connecting to a Chinese Tor node, and I was like kind of like weirded out when I even got there. And I thought that Tor was completely illegal in China. But that's how I got even got onto, it was like through to a Chinese Tor net relay. But I think in those some parts of the world they are illegal. I mean, I do kind of see that happening. Well, not here because the United States Navy invented that technology. I mean, it's secure,
yeah,
but it's not secure like by any means.
No, it's just like who pays for all these servers and all the traffic and everything that passes through. Somebody's paying for all that shit. Who does that? You're not going to, unless you got money, you're not going to do it.
Yeah, and there's ways. There were exploits that have been that have been exploited. The FBI knew how to how to find the user's IP address through an exploit that the Tor project was doing, and they knew about it for a long time, to the point where the nonprofit organization that from Tor project asked the FBI, like, hey, if you got a exploit, can you please give it to us so we can secure the Tor network? And they wouldn't fork it over.
Wow.
No, they like the stuff to be open,
But with a little bit of script magic, I'm 100% certain that you can probably find anybody's IP address using whatever means that they're actually doing. I mean, but so nothing is 100% truly secure anymore.
No, you see all these. I see these reports where it's like, and the time periods are getting shorter. You used to take 6 months of data, and now it's like 2 weeks. So with 2 weeks of data, they can like to 98%. Bust through your VPN. And Tor's still down there around 3%, but the time period is collapsing. They can take less and less data and figure it all out. That's what I see happening.
Even if you're bouncing your signal around, they're still finding out who's sending what.
Yeah, they can always look at it later. I mean, if they really want to decode it, well, then they just really look at it close later. But yeah, I don't see any way to fully anonymize. It's too bad, but now the flip side of that is none of their shit is secure either. It's got all the same flaws and bugs, and
Yeah, I mean, how many people have been on this show, or people that we've known that have got into .mil databases or whatever.
Yeah, it happens. I mean,
it's more common than you would think.
Yeah, get a simple get command.
Not even that. Not even that. I mean, like you'd be surprised how Like you think that somebody has a secure platform or a secure portal, but then they overlook, a few things, that can be exploited.
We see this thing about Twitter having like unencrypted passwords in like a
Yes.
Intermediate step, and it's just like, well, fuck, what are you doing? Like.
So I think what happened, last week or the week before, Twitter gave 350 million users a notice that correct me if I'm wrong, they were updating. I guess they were updating something with the password logs, and apparently they're not supposed to be stored on Twitter's end in clear plain text to any moderate admin or user. And then when they were updating, they found out really within 5 minutes, they kind of found out that that they were saving it in plain clear text, and they ordered everybody to, or asked everybody to change their password. I changed my password specifically because I think I got hacked at some point and I didn't realize it. My old password wasn't working for the light of day, so I don't know who was in it. Nobody weren't posting anything, but
sitting there waiting.
Yeah, I didn't. The funny thing is, I didn't get any updates or logins that I logged in from an odd place. That doesn't necessarily mean there wasn't any funny business going on.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Sending things you didn't know about. Yeah, well, I mean, so that just shows you. I mean, there's usually always a way. There's something somebody forgot, piece of equipment, something's not updated.
Well, I've even said that
practice.
I've even said this on a long, we learned this with Shodan.io. Really quickly, there's equipment that's out there that shouldn't be connected at all to the internet, and yet it is. And sometimes, and a lot of times, they're not. They don't even have any real security. Like who the fuck would put any system, right? Any system at all to a nuclear power plant on the internet with web access? Like for real? Did you really do that?
Well, they got the low bid on the contract. That's how it happens. It's like, oh, you really want the cheapest guy you can find? Okay, yeah, it'll get done, but like a lot of things, did it get done right?
Yeah. Let me see. Michael Crow says intelligent agencies control exit nodes. So to be secure on a Tor network, you have to have a custom exit node, assuming you know which ones are secure.
Yeah, you need several, maybe 40.
Yeah, I ran into a guy not too long ago who claimed he knew which one the NSA was using. God, I don't even think I have that chat log. Yeah, I mean, Tor was designed by the Navy,
Yeah, it's a pretty solid system. It seems to be, even today, like the only thing that really, anonymizes is very good. Even though they could still, get to that, at a low percentage, but it's solid technology, but it's just, nothing is really secure. I mean,
you can always add on a VPN through a Tor. I mean, that's like an extra layer, but it doesn't necessarily mean shit.
Yeah.
It means it does equal a slower connection than you were used to using more. I mean, I don't get any speeds. Sure. I don't get any speeds faster than 350 kilobit, on anything. It was never designed to be fast.
Yeah, it's not for any kind of big peer-to-peer traffic or videos or anything like that, for sure.
God, what else we got to talk about? Oh, something I do want to bring up, kind of Uber.
Uber.
Oh yeah, we'll get to Uber. Yeah, we'll get to Uber. Uber's doing some shit too. So I mean, a shout out to anybody who still follows Julian Assange. it's getting pretty fucking serious. Julian Assange has been cut off from the phone, internet access, and even visitors packages. And this has been going on for 54 days, almost 2 months since he's done anything. All of his accounts are now in the control of people within his inner circle. Guys, like, just keep on posting, on social media, free Assange. It's getting to the point where even the news outlets are not covering him regularly, which is worrying me, because if this keeps on going on, and people start forgetting, the news media keeps on forgetting about him, eventually he's going to disappear. And my worst fear is that if that does happen, we're going to see him on the late night news or whatever, that he's in custody in some jail cell in the United States,
Yeah, it seems to be the lead up. I mean, they're censoring him. I mean, big time. So they've somehow got to the Ecuadorians to do that, and this is just phase one.
Yeah, and whoever he has in control, Julian has in control of the WikiLeaks Twitter. 2 days ago said, let me correct me if I'm wrong. WikiLeaks Twitter is saying that his face is being the Ecuadorian embassy is saying that Julian Assange's fate is being negotiated with the UK courts, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, this is not good, like, at all, Like,
no, they want him shut up. I mean, he's pissed off the intelligence agencies, so they want him shut up.
And the thing
one way or the other, they're going to do it.
And I was reading some Ecuadorian news sites, and the way it's sounding is that, like, they don't want him in the embassy anymore. That's the way it's sounding. He's becoming. I guess they were saying it's. I don't think that the old president, when he let him into the embassy and let him stay there as for political asylum, I don't think that they had foreseen that he would be stuck there for the next 6 years.
Yeah, that and politics change. The guy moves out, and then the new people come in. They're like, "Hey, we want to end this."
Well, yeah, this is the new president. Yeah, the new president for sure. I mean, if the old president was still there, I don't see the situation, with him being cut off from the internet happening. But now it's switched to a different president. Yeah, this is kind of.
So all the signs are there. It's like, hey, this is over, man. They're cutting you off.
Yeah. He's a rat trapped in a cage. And something that has been popping up with Julian Assange is apparently this is going around that I guess he's him and Pamela are close friends, wink wink. And Pamela Anderson, it's rumors right now, but Pamela Anderson is one of the few celebrities that is kind of making a big stink about this, and it's kind of being flushed out of a lot of major news outlets. And she told the press a few days ago that she's been reaching out to Kanye West for some weird reason to say that hey, just keep on promoting or trying to just to get the word out that his situation is becoming bad, because I barely see any media coverage on him, and this is not normal. This is not even normal when he disappeared. Remember when they wanted proof of life because they thought he was dead for 2 months?
Huh, yeah. Yeah, well, in a lot of ways, it's like this, like the news of the last couple of days. You're not seeing much about these Israeli strikes or really anything that's going on. They're snuffing a lot of this out of the news.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad I have my sources that are out there, so I do know what's going on.
Yeah, it's the blackout. This is the start of that blackout that's coming before whatever big event it is that they're going to hammer us with. They're just getting it all in place.
Well, I think that the blackout, as far as what's going on between Israel and Iran, that's probably done on purpose right now, because I believe that they're might be an announcement like soon that we would be going to war with Iran. I just see it happening. That's the next step. I know they talked about doing
Well,
sanctions.
it ties in with all this other censorship, YouTube and all the rest of it. It's primarily conservative voices. They're going to shut down people speaking up about this that have any kind of platform, or they're going to limit your platform to 1%, and you're just not going to get any word out. It's all tied together. They don't want the word getting out about something at some point here.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what's happening to us on our Facebook page. We don't have more than 10 viewers, and I don't mean. I mean, we try to put as good content as we can, and but still, with a page with 20,000 likes, there's only three, not even a percentage that is even seeing our video. I'm kind of glad we have our other major pages that are up. We still do get people on YouTube and VK. We're also on Twitch, and our Twitter page get some views, but at the same point, you
have to go to try to keep that going. And you're never getting back to like where you were.
No, I don't. I mean, we've attempted to, try and merge our Facebook page with other pages where it's being told we can't do it, and it's looking like our Facebook page we might have to start from scratch, but that might do it. We still got one more trick up our sleeve to try and unlift this shadow ban, but we'll see if that works. We might have to rebuild the page from scratch. This is the point where the Facebook gods have determined that Anonymous Bites Back page is what is it? It's spam material. Like, I guess that's what they're. Yeah.
Be unsafe for the community.
Well, I mean, I think what started it was.
Can we be corned beef hash?
Remember when I told you that I displayed how I was telling on the show that how the shadow ban works and how internet censorship on Facebook works in detail, and the next thing I know, we were told to delete some of our content.
Were they talking about people, language, photos?
I think maybe it might have been flagged, and somebody reviewed the content and then saw that maybe we did hit head on that we did describe in detail how the Facebook shadow ban and kind of how the algorithm altogether kind of works.
Yeah, kind of when everybody used to work for them started coming out, like Cambridge and the two other former employees. Everybody trying to tell everybody, hey, you're getting screwed over no matter how much you think this is helping you. It's screwing you over. Kind of deal. What is talking about
that? Well, I mean, they've got it to the point where you can post and 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 post. And, shadow ban is where you don't know that you're banned. And you know what I mean? You don't know that you're banned. You just think that users aren't engaging with your content. On the back end, on the back end, you are banned. And we've seen similar. It's becoming a trend. They have it on YouTube. They have it on Twitter. So a few famous pages that are kind of shadow banned. Julian Assange. I do follow Julian Assange, but when Julian Assange posts or at WikiLeaks posts, I don't see it. I have to manually go and do at WikiLeaks or at Julian Assange just to see their content, even though I have it linked to the point where to follow when to get an announcement when new posts are done. So
yeah, no, that's obvious.
Get a lot of the. Go ahead.
Well, that's obvious, and then all these stupid little tricks of clicking the bell and all that, and that's going to change it. That's just more stupid tricks. None of that shit, actually works. If they're banning you, they're going to ban you. There doesn't seem to be any way to come out of it either. It's like there's no appeal procedure. It's just like, hammer came down. you're going to get your PP whacked, and that's just all this. But they don't even tell you what it is. You know, it's like,
I mean, like the next step. I mean, the next major step would to be design your own web page, or design, or get your own or no, host your have your own server on site.
You need a whole domain, your own .com,
Pretty
.org.
much, yeah, pretty much, yeah, and just stream to your own server. It's doable. It's definitely doable.
yeah,
It's not cheap.
Well,
not
no, that's
cheap.
the thing. You know, setting all that up, and I'm seeing people that are seeing that limited. They know
Really?
the kind of reach they have.
Well, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's fine.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Because
something you
if
should
you're
be
not
able to
limited,
do with your camera, anyways. You know, I'm gonna tell my age. Back in the '90s, when you bought a camera, you actually had to set up your own web page to use that camera. So if you wanted to go to if you wanted to be on anything like Style Project or some ChatterBait or whatever, you actually had to have your web page up and your IP had to be loaded to another server so you could be seen.
ChatterBait, is that thing still even on? Like, didn't I remember one of my friends was like he was just using IP loggers just to see if the IPs were lining up with what he was seeing, and apparently they weren't. That wasn't even anonymous at all. It was displaying like people's IPs. Like, do you know about that? Same thing with chat roulette was displaying IPs.
Yeah, dongles and dorks.
Yeah, they weren't even using the hosting as a middle man in the middle to anonymize the IPs. Oh
well.
Well, yeah, it's like you talked about that earlier. You know, if you make a mistake in your security, it's just all blown, man.
Yeah, at a hash rate of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not very good.
You got to scramble it up a little better than that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Michael Crow says, "Ha ha ha! You guys are menaces. You guys are a menace." I mean, yeah, I guess that's what Facebook determined our page to be. Same thing with YouTube. We've already gotten a strike for bullshit. I mean, we don't have a real big YouTube, but it's a lot bigger than. Well, it's not that big, but it's bigger than some other people's. I can tell you that. I mean, they're lo and behold, most of these social media sites, video streaming sites, are just becoming, non-activist friendly. You can pretty much, they're becoming more politicized, and if you don't agree with the agendas that the social domain is trying to push, whether they're alternative left or they're on the right side or they're outright libertarians or whatever the fuck is their agenda, and if you're not on it and you're saying something counterproductive to what they want and they don't want on their side, you just automatically lose all your shit. Like, we're seeing that with pro Second Amendment YouTube channels. They're everybody's losing their fucking YouTube channels because they have a gun, or even worse,
picture of a gun. That's all it takes.
Yeah, and I do know some chemistry channels, right? Cody's Lab specifically. I've been watching him on his channel, God, for almost a year now, and Cody's Lab does have some on his some of his experiments where he's describing how to make explosives. Right, he got some of his stuff deleted because now, under the new terms of service, he's technically describing how to make a weapon, even though some of the things that he was like in the channels, he was using this stuff to for some of his mineral extractions. I think he was mining, and he was using homemade explosives to get some rock out of where he was mining. So, I mean, they don't really give a shit, like, to be honest. I don't understand how these social media giants can say that you have the freedom to express whatever the hell you want to, but you can't. You think we say that you're allowed to post whatever you want to post, but you really can't.
Well, it's what I call liberal free speech. You can have your free speech all day long as it's liberal free speech. But the moment you deviate from that, you're going to get shut down.
Pretty much all
But
they want
it's
is
not
cat
just that.
videos.
You see it even with like the harder core, what I would call leftist. If you're anti-government, that's the bigger envelope of the whole thing. If you're anti-government, they're going to get you too, even if you're on the left. So.
Basically, what you're saying is you can hate, but you have to hate within a certain demeanor and manner and posture. Correct?
That's correct. It's a strange kind of hate that only goes so far. Just you hate just enough to do something, but not enough to actually go after the bad guys in government who are actually responsible for the shit. If you keep it within those bounds, then we'll let you. You can wave flag. Here's the thing: you can wave flags and banners all day long. They don't give a shit about that. Anything else that's more serious, then we got a problem with it. We're gonna get up in your business, infiltrate, shut you down, scramble your message, take your site down, take your page down, whatever. That's what's called free speech in America. And the post-constitutional banana republic that was formerly known as the USA, that's what free speech passes for nowadays.
Yeah. It's gotten. I hate to say this, but like I hate to make an example and use white supremacist Nazis as an example, right? But
they've always been examples.
Remember that shit we were doing, domestic terrorism, when we were going after Nazis. Remember that?
Oh yeah, maybe a year ago.
Yeah. And
Daily Stormer, yeah, they were the bad guys.
Okay,
yes. On them for a couple of weeks.
Here's an example of this. Okay, I'm pushing the freedom of speech to the ultimate extreme. Now, here in America, we do have the freedom of speech, the freedom of press, and the Daily Stormer is a bad example, but. If a hosting site, right? They paid for domain, and I think it was 1-on-1, right? What was that? And because of the nature of what was going on politically in the United States, Charlottesville happened, and we had Weave, the old troll / hacktivist that became a Nazi. He was part of that, and the hosting site determined that they didn't want to be affiliated with this kind of shit and got rid of their webpage altogether and this and that. And I'm not using that as like in the great sort of contents, but what I am saying is that the internet was a way to get the word out about things that are happening, but now it's gotten to the point where if you're going on a hosting site or you're going on social media, if you don't actually own that fucking equipment, or you don't own that server, or you don't have physical access to it, or you're paying for an internet service, right? Or you're paying for somebody is at some point can fuck you over because you don't agree with their agenda. And that's what I'm seeing more and more on the internet. I don't particularly agree with a lot of the stuff I'm seeing, but what I am pro is freedom of speech, freedom of press. I
always thought the internet was invented to stay one step ahead.
It is, now that we have these major domains, lo and behold, if you use some really fucking off the wall fucking hosting site, outside of the United States or wherever the fuck it is, you might be able to lay low. But if something pulls up, in the major newspapers or whatever, don't be surprised if a hosting site takes your shit down, and says you violated the terms of the agreement or whatever the fuck it was.
Well, that's the problem with an example like the Daily Stormer, though. See, that's your first example of how you do it. You make an example, and then you just increase from there. Then it's pick your next boogeyman.
Yep.
Were they
and
all
expand it. There's always that's the lead in for the rest of it.
were they a Oklahoma based web server group? Daily?
One on one, I believe is no, they're U.S. based,
Yeah, Oklahoma.
and
Well, remember he switched over to Russia and he even got kicked off of there before he had to go to the dark net.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean,
And even there he had trouble. Like
I mean,
shit,
you
man.
can do other are other ways to get your website out there. Like you know what I'm talking about. You know the remember that you know that the when you use your computer an Apache server and then switch your IP to a no IP hosting and essentially your computer becomes the website. That's another way of doing it, but you would always have to have your
Yeah.
laptop on. But it wouldn't necessarily be like a reliable website.
Yeah, it'd be
uh,
typical dark web, but
yeah, you can set your equipment up and serve as a node, man. That's a good way to make Bitcoin or whatever coin, Ethereum, whatever, Ripple.
Yeah, I
hey,
mean,
there was something about speaking of that. I think Ethereum, the SEC was going after one of them here the other day, and it is essentially trying to regulate them instead of being able to come out as this initial crypto offering ICOs. They want to make you an IPO, and then therefore they regulate you. So they're big time trying to get into their business.
Yeah, I think
That'll be the end of crypto.
it,
They'll fuck it up
it
good.
was I think it was Ripple. I
Rip.
couldn't say for
What
sure.
it could.
One of them was going with Visa.
Yeah, there's a Ripple. Ripple is the controversial coin, specifically because banks are using it, and I believe it was a Japanese banks that started using it. But it could be, I mean, like, it's gonna happen, guys.
Cripple.
Crypto IPOs have gotten to the point where they all want to do KYC, which is know your customer. And if you're in America now, a lot of places on IPOs won't even allow you to start investing in the IPOs unless you have certain background. But you can always get around it using a VPN. Just winking, wink. You know what I mean? But a lot of it's starting to get more regulated. And
And there's hundreds of these things. That's why, man, they're starting to realize there's
well,
not just
it's
Bitcoin or
I hate to,
Ripple or
yeah, I hate to say this, but it is getting to the point where cryptocurrency there's like 100 and there's almost 1600, 1700 well-known ones they're described on CoinMarketCap, and God knows how many that are not, because CoinMarketCap won't show cryptocurrency that is under a certain amount, even though some of them do make it onto the CoinMarketCap site. I think it's $10,000 in transactions a day need to be going on there, but that's not always the case. And but there are a lot of coins out there that are just like straight up scams. Like there was that one rapper. He just got busted for having a fucking. It was a Ponzi scheme, and then we saw. God, it was the one. It was another Ponzi scheme. It was not the Bitcoin Dark. It was Bitcoin Gold. It was. They literally shut down overnight, and everybody who was doing their specific coin lending with guarantees of 200% interest with the coins you were doing lost all their fucking money. A lot of it out there. Like this is the way you got to look at it. If your coin is not designed as a currency, or it doesn't have like smart contract or some sort of fucking cool give, and it's just out there for like no reason after the IPO, you gotta be looking at these big flags. Like you get you get on it. You like with the one coin I got was like VIO, right? So VIO was designed for specifically, it was, you were able to send money to specific countries in Africa where their money is completely the inflation rate is really bad, so you would be able to send your money in your local currency. In between, it would go to cryptocurrency, and on the other end, they would be able to turn it to local currency, and they would be able to spend it using a credit card. But a lot of some of the people I knew got involved in this, and for the first 2 or 3 months, they weren't even listed on any market exchange. You couldn't even use your coins if you wanted to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. A friend of mine is having trouble with one called freewallet.org.
Oh yes. I'll talk about that briefly. Yeah. So I know who you're talking about, and he's probably listening. So
yeah.
So if none of you guys are out there for the crypto world, there was a Monero. The Monero coin was originally a larger team, and it split off. And there was Monero and there was Bytecoin. Both were designed on secrecy on in the particular aspect that it doesn't have a publicly posted ledger. Bytecoin was the not as popular one, and what happened was they've been having problems with the wallet like for a long time, and then 3 days ago, it got listed on one of the largest exchanges in the crypto world, specifically Binance, and it jumped the coin from 600ths of a cent USD to literally 10 cents, and it got to the point where the not only were there errors in the Bitcoin network, some of the exchanges fucking crashed, and now there's like millions, if not billions, of dollars that are just fucking like out in cyberspace. I almost lost all my fucking shit trying to move my coins from what was originally like $100 investment turned into thousands overnight, and I couldn't move my fucking money. Yeah. That's enough.
Well, that's classic market manipulation. I mean, you see that in the stock market too.
I was thinking
what they call a fast market, and it's like all of a sudden the little guys' trades can't go through, but the big guys' trades always seem to make it.
That's the funny thing is you say that is like I kind of they say that it wasn't going on, but at the same time, there were people who did get their money from one exchange to another. And specifically, I know this has happened because when the market opened, there were people selling. Right? There were people selling. If you look back on the ledger on Binance, people were selling, which means they had brought their coins from somewhere else. Yeah.
It's the Wild West, man. You're going to get screwed somewhere.
Yeah, it's a technical error. It's a glitch.
Yeah, you hear that a lot in the electronics world. It's always a glitch. Somebody losing money, it's always a glitch.
I hate to say this, but when the Circle team got involved on the Poloniex exchange, if you knew anything about Circle, they were the one of the few platforms back in the day that you were able to buy and to use Bitcoin on an application as a spendable currency. It was very simple. But honestly, like if you guys are listening to us on our Twitter feed, you guys fucking suck. You guys really need to rethink how you are doing your application. I wouldn't be surprised if there are they have a team of less than 20 people that are managing all three applications and the Poloniex exchange. I wouldn't be surprised. That's my 2 cents.
So it's just a couple of guys eating cheese or running all this shit. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. So the
Cheetos fingers.
Yeah, the Poloniex exchange, based out of Delaware, they got bought out by the Circle team. Circle team abandoned Circle Pay. They abandoned the ability to send Bitcoins back and forth, which was one of the precursors to like some of the major wallets that you see out nowadays for the mobile application. And it's now they've gotten to the point where they only want you to invest privately on their own thing. It's called Circle Invest, which looks like a great application. but it's really not. When you start buying cryptocurrency on this, you'll notice that there's no ability on this application to move the funds anywhere off of their platform. And they did this on purpose because they're calling it Circle Invest, not Circle Wallet. Like it's totally fucking like bullshit, you know?
Oh, so it's like a bond, huh?
No, they call it what people are calling it now is a private investment exchange, which means that you can't move the currency off of their exchange.
Oh,
Well,
so,
Yeah,
get rid of that
It's-
shit.
I think that's a nice way of saying we just stole your money, right? I mean, it's like you could come in, but you can't leave. I mean, what the
yep.
hell's
Hotel California.
I'm not the only person to say this. Like what the fuck? And they say they've kind of hinted at like why they're doing it left and right. They said some bullshit because of when the Bitcoin Cash fork happened. They still had people, they didn't transfer any over that shit, and now I don't know. I could hypothetically hypothesize why this is going on, but I think ultimatum it was done by design to kind of fuck over the end user.
well, exactly.
That's
And
what
this
that
is-
one sounds like.
this is classic, stock market type behavior. It's like, anytime you're in something and you can't get your money out, you're being ripped off. That's just all there is to it. Yeah, and
And that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. With the Bitcoin, like I guarantee you, even though the both of their Twitter pages, Bitcoin and Poloniex, are saying that they're going to be able to fix this. I hate to say this, but there are people that were moving millions, if not tens of millions, of cryptocurrency that were given transaction IDs that never made it anywhere, which means their money is gone. Like, I don't know how you can recover from that.
Damn.
Yeah.
well, normally there's some kind of exchange that backs a transaction, or is this just one of those?
They're not FDIC insured because you don't. They don't deal with any actual currency. Most major crypto exchanges don't deal with any currency besides crypto.
I mean, in any usual transaction or business arrangement, I mean, there's some kind of
Like failsafe.
well, yeah, some trust. It's like hey, if I do this transaction, right, you're not just going to fuck me. Oh yeah, it's a legit transaction. We take our shave, 0.5% or whatever it is, and the two parties get whatever, and they move on. But if that's not what you're doing, then you're really just a criminal organization engaged in fraud.
That's kind of how. That's like half of the stuff that I see on these exchanges. Is like not legit. Like Poloniex was one of the other exchanges a few exchanges that I've seen. Where they're doing crypto lending. I'm like, well, wait, and like how can you guarantee that the person's even gonna pay you back? Like. like what if they just take the currency, leave the fucking exchange, and never log back on, and you just walked off with like $10,000, $30,000, $50,000? Like, just saying.
Yeah, you need to do it like typical, stock market accounts. You get segregated funds. They engage in the transaction. It's all supposedly legit until there's a fast market, and then everything changes. But at least, for 97% of the time, it's legit.
Yeah.
No, it's just, that's the kind of criminality that passes as good business nowadays. That's the problem. It's like you can actually set up a business like that that's extremely shady and call it a crypto market and claim you had a glitch, and you just rip everybody off for millions of dollars, and it's okay. It's like,
oh, like Yobit. There's quite a few.
I mean, come on.
There's quite a few that have done that.
It's astounding. Nobody really seems to get in trouble too. It's like, oh well, yeah, these guys got their money ripped off. Well, isn't that a problem?
No, you give it to them.
Oh, it's part of the terms of service, guy. I didn't know I was actually turning my money over to you when I signed the terms of service. I signed in some box that said it's okay to rip me off. And I have no, yeah, you know, forget arbitration. You don't even have that. You know, it's like no court, no arbitration. It's just fuck you.
Oh God.
It's enough, man. Come on.
Let me see what else is going on in the world.
Hey guys, I may have to leave soon.
Oh, okay.
Well, I got a storm coming up. Thunder and lightning. Yeah.
Okay.
How about Hawaii Kilauea?
Oh yeah, yeah. Hawaii's engulfed in lava.
Is
Still
San
there?
Francisco on that fault line there?
Yeah, I haven't really heard. I haven't really been reading up too much. You know, even though I got a friend out there, but they live in Hilo. Uh, I guess the last time this happened, it went on for like 80 days. You know, I guess this has been doing this. You know, Hawaii's been doing this for thousands of years. You know, it's not going to stop. I mean, it's unfortunate that people will build houses near an active volcano, but
That
this
whole
is
island is a volcano.
yeah. Hawaii's just getting bigger.
I wonder how.
More real estate. It's unfortunate, unfortunate that people will build houses in dangerous areas, but
And that stuff has magnetic properties, believe it or not.
does it?
You're living, yeah. Where we get a lot of our magnets from, this where that comes from. So I guess it's kind of like the counterbalance to the North and South Pole. Kind of keeps everything rotating.
What do you mean the magma?
The magma. There's one island that is totally a magnet, pretty much. I guess it's the stalactite in it. I was watching a documentary on it.
Uh,
My kid was wanting to know where magnets came from, so I was like, hey, let's look this up. This is what Google and YouTube's for. Let's look this shit up. We found out a lot of our magnets are actually from a volcanic active island in Hawaii.
I didn't know
Believe it
that.
or not.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll learn some stuff when you got kids, man.
That's the first I heard of that one.
Yeah, me too.
So everybody's living on a big old fiery magnetic island.
Let's see what else is going on. So we on this video, I accidentally put on the Space Force video. My bad. But yeah, so when I was talking about President Trump militarizing and the United States militarizing space, it looks like this is much more than just speculation and talk. In fact, Congress was in the process of doing the financial aspect, and there's real talk about restructuring of the service branches. So America is very serious about militarizing space, which is really fucking weird. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, just some of the shit that I'm hearing is like the way that technology is advancing. Like, we're really getting to that place where we're on the cusp of a huge breakthrough as far as space travel, and to the average person is getting closer to that point. I don't think maybe another couple of decades. I do see it getting there, and I just don't understand why militarization of space is an option. I don't see any real viable purpose for it.
Hey, we can't pay our bills now. How the hell are we going to pay for that shit?
Yeah, I don't imagine the costs are going down in space. So as far as like Elon Musk got that shit down to like $100 million. I don't. The government does the same thing. It's billions.
Is this why we have the Aerospike and Uber and United States Air Force getting into flying vehicles?
That is another thing I'll be talking about. Yeah, could possibly happen. Yeah, and, Uber is laying down the groundwork for using drone technology for the flying vehicles. Dubai
You
is
know,
Dubai has already perfected the technology. In fact, so much that they already have the prototypes for the flying. It's like kind of like an ATV, but it has drones, the drone blades on the side, and they are being going to be used for the police in Dubai. And the something similar might be coming to transportation as far as like taxi services.
Well, interesting.
I think you could build one, but man, it's going to cost a lot, man. I mean, there's no easy power source. You're coming up with some kind of, for it to go mass scale. Uh, I mean, I got to call them out. It's like this
I do.
Amazon drone. I just don't see. I don't think you can fly your shit around with drones and actually make money. That's just pie in the sky, man.
I thought about the same thing, mainly because for you're using up a lot of energy to keep things a flight like that, and if you're using the same technology that we're using on drones, as far as electrical, it's not viable. You'd have to go with something gas powered. you know,
Yeah, I don't know if I would fly around in a 3D printed vehicle.
yeah. Yeah, but
What if it had a little foam in it? Would that make you feel better? And if it crashes, you could bounce a little bit with the
Well,
soft.
at least make it carbon fiber so we know it is almost bulletproof. Have a little buoyancy in case we land in water.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we need to be dense. No
Yeah.
pun intended.
I mean, they could use hydrogen fuel cells. I mean, that'd be an alternate way of keeping something afloat. But yeah, I do call bullshit on it. I mean,
What are we going to do? Stack lithium batteries in it? What, 12 lithium batteries the size of a car stereo, 80 style, maybe 90 style car stereo battery.
that's essentially that's essentially what the lead builders in this technology are wanting to do is they want to go electrical, with lithium ion. But as far as keeping something in flight using that kind of technology or using drone technology is it doesn't I don't see it working out very well.
Iridium pylons.
Motor, man. I mean,
I see that going well.
yeah, until you perfect anti-grav, it's just not going to happen easily.
And not only that, it also goes into the thing that these things can be manned, unmanned. If they're manned, what kind of training do they need? Does your driver need to be a pilot? Like.
You have to register with the FCC. Is that going to interfere with other flight patterns and navigational units?
Yeah.
What's that going to do to wildlife?
What if you get a guy up there that's drunk? What are we going to do then?
Oh my God! Put him on a string.
Not only that,
Yeah,
like you've seen what a bird would do to a turbine. Just imagine what it would do. Just imagine what a couple of bugs flying into a propeller onto a drone vehicle. I'm just saying.
Hey, you ever seen those? Yeah, you ever see they're on YouTube. You see these guys with those kit planes or those little powered hang gliders.
Yeah.
And they'll get hit by a bird or something, and man, it's like, down they go, man. I mean, that's all it takes, man. You hit a bird hard enough, he'll fuck you up,
Speaking of, the last thing on a bug's mind is before it hits the windshield?
What?
His ass.
That's the last thing?
What's the last thing on a bug's mind before it hits the windshield? His ass.
Hey, that's true, yeah.
Let's see what else is going on. Big news. Next week, Congress will try to introduce the Congressional Review Act. to try reverse net neutrality next week. I was under the impression, guys, that later this month that that the net neutrality rules would end or be redacted. I guess it's been pushed back to June 11th. I don't know why. I guess they keep on moving. Remember at first I thought it was April. They said it was April, then it was May, now it's June.
They like to push things to holidays. They can push that one over on July 4th, and everybody's up there looking at fireworks and all. They can pass that one in the middle of the night.
Yeah, everybody's drunk and barbecuing.
So Battle for the Net.
4 or 5 days later, it's over, and you're already fucked. So.
Battleforthenet.org. You can download a script and put it on your website or onto your social media account. They are encouraging you to put a Red Alert logo on any of your things or your icon pics, because net neutrality laws, as we see it, is at Red Alert. If this Congressional Review Act doesn't get reversed, like despite what your states have been doing to try and counteract those laws, how well they're written doesn't necessarily mean they won't be challenged in court by the big telecom companies. This might be closer to reality than we think. I know the average user is going to be like, hey, nothing happened when you guys said something would happen. I'm like, well, that's because the laws didn't get changed when we thought they were going to get changed. So, get involved. Call your senators, call your congressmen, to try and vote to repeal or to use to vote on the Congressional Review Act, just so that we can get our net neutrality laws back. Unless you like pay as you go, the HBO like cable structure to your internet, or you're a gamer or whatever, you're not going to appreciate that you might have to pay higher fees just to get that streaming content. Yeah, and then it might even be worse. It might even be worse than just paying more for content. It might be itemized to the point where you might have to pay for Netflix for the higher content. You would have to pay for Hulu for that higher streaming content. Just imagine a more dominant corporatized internet, which most things will turn into pay as you go. I mean,
no more Fire Sticks, no more, building your own TV network, your music network, none of that.
Well, I mean, it's, essentially yes and no. I mean, there are mesh networks that are out there, but you got to be living in. As far as I know, the only functioning mesh network is in Manhattan. There's been talks about people trying to set up mesh networks that still have access to the normal ClearNet internet instead of an internet. It takes a lot of ingenuity and backing, but I don't see it as a viable option other than to try and get this rule reversed. Why should we have to go to extra lengths to get the same service? You know what I mean? Why should to get the internet that we know?
Yeah.
Internet that we know. Why should we have to go to extra steps to get what? Because of some lawmaker changed the fucking rules, the FCC. I don't know. I mean, it's like a Hail Mary. If this thing goes through next week, we'll know. But if not, I don't know what's going to happen.
I think we'll get it. I think we'll win the net neutrality. A lot of the Congress are pushing for it.
I hope so, bro.
They need everybody to be monitored. I mean, if everybody has to pay more for the internet, there's going to be less people online. So they need that net neutrality to pass.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, I mean, you can't jack the price up so high that very few can afford it, because then that counteracts what their bigger plan is to track you. So, yeah, that's a good point.
I got to doing some research, and I noticed that when Obama passed the net neutrality, and there were more users for Facebook than ever. I mean, immediately.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people. I mean, if they get so bad, like they can't even afford their phones. I mean, they just hit the free Wi-Fi, and I mean that's it's a great way for them to communicate. Even at a lower level, but you can actually do pretty good doing that. You still get to Facebook and all your shit and emails and whatnot, but so you don't have to be on the internet. I mean,
Um. Yeah. So that's going on.
you said you were going to hit something about the like some operations that were going on. I don't remember what
Oh yeah.
what you're
So
talking.
I did catch some anons going after um fake Illuminati sites. Like, I just have to say this out loud, guys. Illuminatium is not the real Illuminati. Like, it's not even real. Like, if you 99
It's fake.
99.9%, which is almost all of them. I mean, there might be somebody out there who's really part of the Illuminati that's out there in cyberspace, but 99.9% of Illuminati web pages and people that you find on social media outlets are not real Illuminati. Okay, Illuminatium is a scam written by a scam artist. In fact, it's such a scam that you have to pay. They have their books listed on Amazon. It was written in sixth grade format, double paragraphed, 140 pages with a lot of them blank. It was poorly written. Not only that, after you read the book, you are encouraged to buy the jewelry and pay for membership. Now, the membership doesn't guarantee anything. In fact, you don't go to any secret meetings. You get this certificate that says you are part of the Illuminati. Like, it's a fucking scam. Like, and it's such a scam, I can even prove it to you. If you go to Illuminatium .am and you type in /admin, right? You'll go to their login portal, which is they didn't even have enough money to get a real web page. They had to use a content resource management tool. They didn't have a real programmer. From what I'm seeing on the back end of their web page, they probably get hacked a lot because now they're using a Google random number generator for their logins for their WordPress site, which means that maybe some people have tried to crack their things using WP. Well, there's a lot of Linux tools to try and crack WordPress passwords, but and then on the other end of the spectrum, I've seen people fall for those peak guys that are saying that email me and blah 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 yada yada yada, and you'll enter into the Illuminati. Nine out of 10 times you're talking to somebody in Algeria, Uganda, or Algeria, Uganda, or Nigeria, and it's a scam, and they'll ask you if you'll give them $100 Western Union, then you become part of the Illuminati. And if you know anything about the Illuminati, it was founded by Adam Weishaupt in the 1700s. A lot of it, like, from what I know of how they run, you don't pay for membership. You are chosen, and you can't join that way. You are chosen from the inner circle, and most likely it's related to bloodlines or whatever. I believe Alex had a legit Illuminati that he was on like a few days ago, that had left and created his own Masonic lodge. And guys, you can't go after the Illuminati. You can't go after a secret society that really doesn't use web pages. Like,
They do. You have to type Illuminati in Google backwards, and it'll take you directly to our webpage. It's like it's NSA.org.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've totally investigated this years ago, trying to go down how far down the rabbit hole I could go. Now that's not to say that there aren't secret orders that are out there that aren't on the internet. Now that is 100% true. There are many secret orders that are on there that are just as bad as what the Illuminati says they are and are on the internet. Um, but guys, the Illuminati is not on the internet. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry.
Yeah, it's probably a troll page or a bait page just to draw a reaction out of you. Likely.
Yeah, a lot of them are just scams, scam artists. Down to three viewers. Yay, we're doing so great, so great.
It's been a good night. Have a good one.
Let's see, Op Nicaragua is going on. A pro-Palestinian hacker got arrested in Torrance. He got busted. His major thing that got him busted was he defaced West Point's webpage in 2015. That was not smart.
That's genius.
What else we got in the hacking world? So the government invested a lot of money, specific agencies within the government, the FBI, in certain departments within the U.S. and the law enforcement community had invested tens of thousands of dollars into these machines called the Gray Shift or the Celebrite machine, which are machines that they hook your mobile device into the one of these machines, and then it essentially is a phone cracker. Now, iOS, where are we at? iOS, what version are we at? I think it's 11.32. Got a software update. Let me see. iOS 11.4 when it comes out. Update to the newest iOS 11.4 if you guys do have an Apple device, and essentially it would you'd be one step ahead of the game to one of those machines. Now, is that a guarantee that they still couldn't get in? No, but you're one step ahead of them using one of these machines that can try and get into your phone. If you get caught. Yeah.
So if you get caught.
I think that the price for a Gray Shift machine is like, because they're only allowed to use so many phones on these things. I think for like 200 phones, they have to pay $30,000, $50,000, and for unlimited use, they have to pay like $250,000. There are agencies within the United States that did fork out that kind of money. So be careful out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of scams out there.
So now you're saying this is for police departments, or who's forking over that kind of money?
I believe what I was reading the last time I read up on it was the FBI. Bought a couple of those machines, and so did some of the police departments out there for a Gray Shift. Specifically, it was a Gray Shift machine. What else?
Yeah, it just seems like they could do it a lot cheaper than that, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, essentially, what they're paying for is, for idiot technology. You plug the thing in and it starts trying to crack it. Overpriced. They know they're going to get a government contract. so they jack up the price. They add a couple more zeros under the price tag, and that's what it costs.
Shh, we're giving away the secrets.
Still cheaper than hiring an actual human IT guy.
Yeah. What else is going on? Yeah, North Korea released three prisoners from North Korea. I don't believe we are hearing anything that they have, what had happened to them or any kind of. I'm not sure if any interviews about these three guys have come out. I don't feel like the three U.S. citizens that were released from North Korea you will ever hear them speak out about what had happened to them. Specifically because when the when somebody from the CIA comes and gets you from a foreign country, I believe that you're signing these. They probably signed an agreement to not see what had happened for 20 years, about what had happened to them specifically because of these peace talks that are supposed peace talks that are going to happen in Singapore in like a month.
Now, what are these guys? These three guys, what did they do? Why are they in there?
Most of them were affiliate. They were teachers and tied into nonprofit organizations or Christians, or they were teaching at universities. One of them was specifically teaching at a university, and I believe that they were arrested for hostile acts, whatever that means.
Peace and liberties with a minor, maybe.
No, knowing North Korea and the laws over there, you could be arrested for not having your pants. Women weren't allowed to wear pants. Or ride bikes. Remember that one guy that was arrested, that was there in prison, that kid that died because he had infections when they brought him over to the U.S. He was in the prisoner detaining camp for stealing a sign. I don't believe that these guys did anything wrong, to be honest.
But they were arrested in North Korea at the time. They had some exchange going.
Two of them knew. I believe two of them kind of knew each other indirectly. The other one, I'm not so sure about. Yeah, I don't think they were doing anything out of the order. I don't think they did specifically anything that was wrong, other than being in North Korea at a really bad time to be an American in North Korea.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Go to Iran.
Yeah.
Well, they always have some boogeyman.
No, I do feel, this is what Kim Jong-un will say is that they'll denuclearize, they'll do whatever they need to do as long as the U.S. leaves the South Korean peninsula. And being just like legit, like if that's what Kim wants in order to like stop the nuclear program and to get rid of all of their sanctions, or the U.S. will get rid of all their sanctions if they comply with this, I don't see this as a bad thing. In fact, I see it as a step towards something happening, but I don't know if that's what Trump will agree to,
Well, I mean, if I was advising the North Korean dictator, I just point to Gaddafi and stuff like, here's what happened to the last guy that tried this. It didn't turn out too good. I'm just saying, it's.
Well, look at what he's saying.
A few examples of this now. It doesn't go well.
Well,
and it might take 4 or 5 years. They're not going to do it to you immediately because they're going to make you a decision and you did the right thing. But then it's all going to change.
I do see if everything goes the way I think it will, if North Korea backs out, North Korea and South Korea have some agreement where they don't have this, they let open trade go back and forth. I do see the North Korean regime, or Hermit Kingdom they call it. I do see that collapsing under itself. You know, but the more they stay isolated, the more nothing's going to change. You know.
More of the same.
Well, that's true. I just don't think they want to change, really. I mean, they've got it the way they want it. They like having that captive population and slaves, and
Yes, they do.
it's probably a great deal for the few guys at the top, but
Yeah, but at the same time, the North Korea sanctions so bad to the point where they got to like resort to uh, they were selling drugs and they were stealing money off of Bitcoin exchanges. You know, there was all sorts of illegal stuff they were trying to do to get money. If nobody will trade with you, then you're kind of fucked.
oh yeah, no, I mean, I see their problem. I'm just not sure what they're going for. What their whole angle is. For doing it anyway. It just doesn't seem like you can't take over China. You really can't mess with us. So what's the point in continuing with your hermit kingdom dictatorship? I don't see that going anywhere.
I don't see it going anywhere either. Yeah, we'll see what happens next month. I just hope that Trump doesn't fuck this one up, which he probably will.
He'll screw the pooch.
Well, he's got a mouth on him, bro. You don't start calling people derogatory names at the UN Council. You don't start calling people Rocket Man, at the UN. Like what the fuck is wrong with him?
Yeah.
Well, see, our whole policy's gotten like that, though. We've gotten to the point now where we just bomb, and you don't need congressional authorization, you don't need UN authorization. You just go ahead and do it. I mean, we've gotten so used to doing that now that it really does. Other people have to be looking at you like, you guys you're just full of shit, man. You talk about international law and all this, all day long, and
they just bomb somebody without asking.
Freedom.
Yeah,
and then you just bomb somebody, and it's just like I think other people know what we are when they look at us from the outside. I really do. We don't seem to see it. It's just like, hey, we want to do something. Well, then, if people get killed or oh well, and that's just that's just the clue to how your mind works, and how you operate. We've gotten too used to it. That's what I'm saying. The longer it goes on, the worse it gets. Well, it's like that thing. What was it? That Al-Awlaki, Obama killed the 16-year-old son of that guy, and then Trump, like 2 or 3 weeks into him being president, he kills the 8-year-old sister. It's just like, man, what are y'all doing? It's like, you really got to go after the kids now too. Is it really required? I mean, how big a threat can an 8-year-old girl be?
I don't know. I heard about that. Just read about that. What the fuck? It was in Yemen, right?
Yeah, the girl got killed. Exactly. The boy was in Yemen. Yeah, but it just shows you. I mean, it's just like this agenda is you can't. They got to quit blaming Obama because he's been gone a year and a half now. Hillary, whatever. I mean, they've been gone a while. Yeah, they set up a lot of stuff, but they're not the ones running it right now.
Yeah.
And that was one of the first things he did. So it's just like, yeah, but he said that before. There's clips of him saying it's okay to go after. It's like this. They're okay with it.
Yeah, killing children in third world countries, the war torn countries.
Yeah, who happen to be American citizens, but oh well, that's okay.
Yeah,
you're pretty far down the path, man. No return. Yeah, that was on Ron Paul's site.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was that's like a year ago. I couldn't believe it. That's over a year ago, and I can't believe I missed that one. I was just like, holy shit! I read that thing. Like, really, man? How did I miss that?
I missed it too.
I must have been fawning in my Trump love at the time, and I just, I couldn't.
fawning,
fawning.
Well, what is that? I
Oh,
gotta
that's
hear
when you
that.
get fawning. Well, that's when you get glassy eyed and you attack anybody that says anything negative about Trump. You're a Trumper, you know? And you've fallen in love with whatever propaganda or bullshit you're hearing at the time, and everything he does, he could kick shit, fresh shit in your face, and you just lick it up. You'd love it. See, that's fawning over somebody. And I
Gotta
must have been
remember
guilty because
that.
I must have been partially guilty because I don't remember that story, and that's a big one. I was just like, whoa, man, can't believe I missed that one.
Did you hear Trump's went ape shit on the border patrol, the head of the border patrol, or it was a DHS or whatever the fuck it is?
Well, the guy quit the day the caravan came through. Um, I did see that, but yeah, that was. Well, you talk about a foobar deal, man. It's like, how can Trump one day tell ICE and DHS to not let him in, and then the next day, Vice President Pence is on the border telling everybody we're going to let him in, you know, by legal means. I mean, you know, uh, that's about as out of control as you
With
can
no
get.
guarantee of citizenship. You know?
Yeah, it just Mister. That's what I call President Flip and Vice President Flop. You know, they can, and then they come out days later like, well, like that never happened. It's just like, man, you guys. I mean, the propaganda is so bad.
They
I mean,
all probably got interrogated.
Oh, here we go. Jeff Sessions attacking that as well. He said he was he attacked. If you cross this border unlawfully, we will prosecute you. It's that simple.
yeah, there's all these big threats, and then nothing happens. Here they come in, and it's just like, yeah, okay, well, you know what that is? That's a win for Governor Brown. That's the Governor Brown stand down for illegals one, President Trump and the government zero. They win, man, because you just let them in, and after all this bullshit and all this bravado talk and all this macho, you don't do shit. You let them in. I mean, and I'm supposed to think you're credible in some way, or I'm having a problem.
I mean, I've never seen. You know what I've never really seen is such divided. The stuff we see in this president. I don't think we'll ever see ever again. In any presidency. Just the shit that's going on. I mean, Nixon was a good example of how shit just goes down the rabbit hole. But I think we're past the other side and we're somewhere else in this unknown territory. You know.
Well, no, yeah, you got the previous president wiretapping the incoming before he's even a candidate. You're already wiretapping him, just like, and that's okay nowadays. Nobody gets in trouble for that. Wiretapping him, in fact, even as he was becoming president, as he's coming in, it's just like, and then these cowards, the GOP cowards, they don't do anything about it. Even when it happens to them, they're just like they're so lazy and so craven and despotic. They don't even care. It's just like, oh yeah, and I'll get to do it to the next guy. So I've never seen anybody like this. A group of folks operate like these clowns are right now. This is a joke, man.
It's like a circus. It's the freak show.
It's a three-ring circus. Yeah, it's a circle jerk. It's just you say things, nothing means anything. You don't back anything up. You don't go after any of the criminals like Hillary and none of that. You're over here starting all these wars, trying to create some fake legacy, and then you don't even take care of shit at home. It'd be so easy. It's just like they're criminals. Go after them. That was one of your big promises. It's like, I'm going to jail Hillary. Blah blah blah. And then nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean nothing on any of these people. In fact, you let them run the show. You let the criminal Mueller and the gang run the show and let them come after you. And it's like, who does that? Who is so dumb and out of touch that they actually go along with shit like that?
Yeah.
It's a strange place, man. You got that right.
And then we got this. He can't, the president can't get a competent attorney because of this Stormy Daniels shit. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Like,
Yeah, you're a billionaire, but you can't even come up with 130 grand to pay off somebody in cash so that there's no trace.
She must have run out of money the first.
I mean, yeah, that whole story is just full of. I mean, there's two
paying her lawyer.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it didn't have to go. It didn't have to go that way. That's all I'm saying. It's just like if you had money laying around, you're a billionaire. You'd think you'd have at least 130 grand laying around somewhere that you could pay the gal off
under a book or something. It's got 130,000.
Yeah, your lawyer doesn't have to hawk his house. It's like, give me a break, man. That guy's got millions too. It's like, why is he hawking his house? Who? That's what I'm saying. Who operates this way? You people are nuts. You're nuts. You're out of mind. You really don't know what you're doing. That's what I'm seeing. Sessions, all of them, man. It's just like whatever. I'm just not seeing much. It's like, okay, you gave us a little bit of a tax break, big deal. Then you start 2 more wars. You might get away with being part of the end of one of them. But if you start 2, is that a peace prize? Is that a peace prize winner? Is it? I mean, we gave it to the last guy who wasn't even, the Kenyan who couldn't find his birth certificate. Gave it to him for nothing. So I guess so. The bar's set pretty low. You really don't have to do jack shit. We'll just give you one, and you're a great guy, and off you go. It's nuts. I just see that guy for I don't know if he's the head of the Nobel Committee or not, but I guess he's having a little remorse or some kind of conscience. He's like, yeah, we really shouldn't have done that, and giving it to Obama. Yeah, no kidding. But you guys were so keen on kissing his balls at the moment 5, 6 years ago that you just had to, right? I mean, you just had to do that. Yeah, another group of cowards. Leftist cowards pushing their shit.
I guess W. Silverlet is saying you do not understand deep state.
No, I think we do.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's too deep for me. I don't know.
No, it's like the fact that you're even calling it that shows you that it's the government that's really in charge that you didn't know about. That's really what's going on. You vote for these other people. That's the circus that goes on to make you believe that there's really some government with 3 branches and that everything's legit and okay. When really it's these other guys behind the scenes, getting it done.
Well, yeah, I mean, for the most part, the president's just a puppet who listens to other people's advice and signs yes or no based on what these people say.
Yeah, the 20 Goldman Sachs guys from the CFR and these other guys, the generals that run the intelligence and all that, they're really the guys in charge telling you what to do now, and all the bankers in between. You're just the guy that gets blamed. If their shit goes down, you're the guy that gets blamed for it. You're the front man for a bunch of criminals. That's what you really are.
Yeah.
Which is no absolution. You're just the front guy. I mean, you're still a criminal, but you're just the front guy.
How the hell does Trump end up with Rudy Giuliani as a fucking lawyer? How did that happen?
Well, who did Giuliani represent before him?
Hey, they're friends from way back. You got to remember
he was the governor. He was a governor of New York, like, for a long time. Remember they
represented somebody else in court.
I remember they were showing pictures of him today, where he was dressed up as Marilyn Monroe hanging out with fucking Trump in drag.
Yeah, that's the kind of lawyer I always look for, Tyler. The lawyer I have, is a well-known, dresses up in drag kind of guy, because those are the ones you can trust, right? I mean, they got their shit together.
I don't know.
Nothing fruity going on there.
Rudy Giuliani was so uninformed about his client's his situation that he spilled all the cookies about the previous lawyer who got him in trouble.
It's pure genius. That's 4D chess, Tyler. We just don't understand.
Like when,
You know, here's the thing. Here's the thing, everybody. It's either 4D chess or you're being totally bullshit by a bunch of clowns who don't know what they're doing.
that
Okay,
seems more
that's
obvious than believing that there's
right.
some intelligence to what is going on here in America. Like
Yeah,
if you
that's
believe, like these people, like if you, I hate to say this, Alex. When you say that these people are masters, you almost made a bunch of idiots into what appears to be smart people with an agenda. And there really are some people out there, but they really lie outside of the realm of what you would call deep state and and political affiliations. You really don't see you don't see these people in the normal realm, but those are the true masterminds. But when it comes to these lower level like politics, left and right, it's more like it's slapstick together by these idiots who make it seem as though they know what they're doing, but they really don't. Am I right or am I wrong?
They just keep cranking them out too.
I mean, we do. You do have these groups out there like these billionaires that get together once a year. They go by the Bilderberg Group. You have secret societies that are not well known, that are out there with people who are in great political power that do discuss on business deals and do have real big influence on what does happen here in the world. But as far as what I'm seeing so far, like as far as this administration, it's just a bunch of it's a shit show.
I agree. It's like he's had huge turnover. He's got higher turnover than fucking McDonald's. He doesn't stand by anybody. I mean, look at Flynn, man. He's the first one they threw under the bus. I wouldn't want to be around him. It's like everybody around you is getting thrown under the bus. I mean, it's a bad place to be.
Yeah, I would say I haven't seen this many people get fired or quit under any administration since I've been alive. I haven't seen.
How hard is it? It's just, and you're regurgitating guys from like Bush era, it's just like, man, can't you find somebody new? I mean, do we really have to use the same old neocons from 20 friggin' years ago? It's like, give me a break. No sooner do you get Ambassador Warmonger Bolton in there, and oh, guess what? Here starts another war. It's like a day or two later. It's like clockwork, man.
Oh God. Oh.
We missing somebody?
I think Micro fell asleep. Micro?
This is hard.
Yeah.
I thought you fell asleep.
Kind of.
You know what's funny is that I can't turn on, I can't turn on the Clown News Network without hearing fucking bullshit about Trump all day long. Like this is like the Clown News Network has literally gone from reporting to just talking about Trump 24/7, and this is gonna. And you know what sucks is that that channel is gonna be dedicated to talking about this until he fucking leaves, or the executives think it's not a good story anymore. Like it's
they're
fucking,
just all wound up in their Democrat hate. It's instead of Obama derangement syndrome, which you saw a lot of, among Republicans and Tea Party people. Now it's Trump derangement syndrome on the left. They're just rabid, spitting dogs. Democrats just they can't handle Trump being in there, and they're going nuts, man. I mean,
here's the deal: is like if they really got Trump out of the office, Mike Pence is like the second in command. So you're just gonna go from bad to worse.
Yeah, that's a no change. Yeah.
We got somebody in there who's
Brian.
Remember when Trump said not even 3 weeks ago that we're getting out of Syria, and then we start bombing shit, and then all of a sudden we're not out of Syria. Like, What the fuck?
It's just bullshit, dude. That's all it is, man. Like I say, it's either 4D chess
Or flip
or it's
flop.
complete fucking bullshit. And you got to make a choice. I mean, I've made my choice. I mean, if you want to keep believing it's 4D chess, and keep believing the propaganda, go ahead and run with it, man. But I just can't get there anymore. There's no way.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
at some point, you got to call it off and say, "Hey, wait a minute, man. Even if I'm a supporter, it's like, my God, these guys are just so full of shit. I mean, Sessions, what has he done? You know damn well if Holder would have been in there and it was Obama, he'd be getting in the middle of every investigation, making sure he got it all wound up the right way. But oh no, not this guy. He can still get a check, recuse himself of everything, not do a goddamn thing, and he still gets a check. But it's like, who does that? Who gets in power and then acts this way?
Yeah, the same thing. Sessions, Trump has gone after Sessions. In fact, has told him to resign several times. And then when Sessions talks in favor of what he's doing, he says he's doing a good job. Like what kind of fucking person did we put in office? What kind of person did the Americans put in office? Like a fucking bipolar idiot? Like,
I don't know, man. It's not good. Not a good place. You know who I was warned about? About him was an old lady who's a big time Democrat supporter. She was just like, "Oh no, you don't want Trump. You don't understand." I was just like, and this is years ago, man. It's like 2015, but before he was really even running it. And she's just like, "Oh no," and I was just like, "Well, what's the problem?" He's just like, "Well, they had the lowdown on him, like his psych eval and all the rest of it." And they were like, "Oh no, man, you don't want to even go there." It's like he's not all there. At the time I thought, "Oh man, come on, Trump may have some issues or whatever. He can't be that bad." Well, now that you're getting a big dose of it, of 4D chess, it's like, okay, yeah, right. I see your point, man. But yeah, she clued me in way. Yeah, she's a big time Democrat, man. They're like, "Oh hell no, you don't want him." Oh fuck. It's like, but they know how to get him in. And they convinced. This is how dumb Republicans are. They actually convinced you that a Hillary Clinton loving New York is an outsider Republican. You guys really do your homework, man. It's just like, who came up with that? And then it worked. It's like all these, well, I'm going to call them what they are. All these stupid rednecks actually bought that shit. Hey, and I'm a Republican, man. I'm trying to support this, and I can't anymore. It's like just too far out there. I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen to him in the next. I really hope this something, and I don't think there's any chance for this administration to be real. Like they can't turn it around with a fucking lunatic, a lunatic.
I think they said like 89 senators opted not to be reelected this coming year.
Why? Because of him?
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And the stock market has gone down drastically the past week.
He said that was his. He said the stock market was doing so good because of him.
Yeah, war's usually bad for the market. It's not like this market was that strong anyway. I mean, they fluffed it up here pretty good, but from here on out, I don't know that they got the earnings and all, and interest rates creeping up, and plus starting another couple of wars. That can't be good.
Yeah, crypto market's crashing right now.
Yeah, more censorship. You got all these bogus numbers. They're trying to tell you that you're at like the best it's ever been in like 40 or 50 years. It's like, give me a break, man. See, that's just more that 4D chess. You're just lying to me. Nothing changed in the last year that got that great. It's just not happening. I'll tell you what you guys, you Republicans did do. You added another trillion or so to the debt, man. You're pure geniuses. You're just like the damn Democrats, man. You spend like a bunch of Democrats. So what have you done? I don't get it. jail.
Yeah.
Hell, so yeah, who needs you? See, that's where I'm at, and I'm a supporter, man. I'm trying to be a supporter, but I'm at the point. It's just like, who needs you? You fucking guys are worthless.
Yeah.
You've been given everything. You got every three branches. Here's what all you Republican leaders said. If you just give us give us the Congress, we can do da 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 da. Oh, wait a minute, we need the presidency. If you give us the presidency, well, you got all that shit now. What are you guys doing? Not a damn thing. You know why? Because you're all full of shit. That's the big conclusion. It's just like, hey, you got everything and you're acting like this. Well, you're just a bunch of cowards. You're full of shit. Well, you see where Texas is suing DACA too. This goes back a little ways, but Texas and I think 7 other states are suing him over that. As soon as he let those the caravan in, they decided to sue him. It's like, hey, wait a minute, you're just like Obama. Where have we seen this before? So yeah, there's a crack in the armor, man.
Yep.
And they're all Republican, governors and Republican states. So it's like, yeah, good job, man. Good job.
We got Jeff Sessions going over to the border, also saying that they would be arrested. At the same time, like, what the fuck is going on here?
They're out of control. I mean, that's what I see. It's like when somebody says they're not coming in, then you let them in, and it's the same guys saying it. It's just like, well, who's in charge here?
Nobody.
It doesn't even make sense. You can't even run your own executive branch and executive agency. They're not even listening to you. What does that tell you? They just do whatever the fuck they want. I guess they're in California. They've sworn an allegiance to Governor Brown. It's the Governor Brown stand down for illegals, man. They're winning. They're actually winning.
Oh, God.
And that's only possible if you're totally incompetent and are a coward at the same time. You have to have both of those. There's no other way to get there except being a total douchebag, coward, incompetent. So, good job, man.
You know what I'm noticing is that some people are posting onto our live stream and their comments are being censored. Like they won't pop up until like 20, 40 minutes until after they're saying something.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, your minder, Zuckerberg and his army of 10,000 fools, making sure that you have to be sanitized. I mean, come on, you guys over at ABB, you're getting way out of line, man. You're obviously not falling for the Kool-Aid, and the propaganda is not working. So we've got a problem.
Yeah, they censored our page to shit. There's only 6 viewers.
Got 100,000, and we can only get 6. Huh? Yeah, that's good. That's typical Facebook penetration when you're market reach when you're being censored, right? I mean,
penetration. You said it.
Yeah, well, it's not the kind of penetration you want.
I mean, if this last trick I've got up my sleeve doesn't work, like we might just try and merge this page with another one. If you can't, we just have to rebuild it from scratch. I don't know what else to do then, or start streaming the show from another page. I could always do that, but I would have to talk to I'd have to talk to the admins, to start streaming the show from somewhere else. It's lately, when you're playing cat and mouse with major social media outlets, it's not a fun game, and until you become a content creator, which a lot of our viewers may or may not be, you start noticing when you become a content creator, kind of like what we're doing here, how we have a show, Anonymous Bites Back. You start noticing, the content that you put out either puts you in jeopardy or works for you or against you. And, and specifically, a lot of the stuff that we talk on here has put us in jeopardy, and it becomes more apparent the more you try and get around it. And it's to the point where, like, I'm not ready to back out of the fight yet, but it's like what other options do they really leave us than other than completely leaving their their site. And then this isn't the only one that's fighting us. You know.
Yeah. Well, you got the YouTube and Facebook. Anybody else doing it to you?
Yeah, YouTube has been doing some weird stuff since we got that strike. So now the first half an hour to 45 minutes of our show doesn't get saved for some weird reason onto the YouTube server. So when people want to replay the episodes, that's happening. Periscope really hasn't done anything. I don't think anything's really going to happen there unless we start streaming porn or something off the wall. VK, they don't give a shit, but we do get a lot of viewers there. But at the same time, I don't see them really doing anything unless we break the rules. But the place where we came out of, which was on a Facebook page, has just seemed to be the way of the dinosaur as far as getting the message out there. Once their algorithm has locked on to you, and if you understand the way that they're shadow banning and kind of works, it's not really easy to circumvent once the damage has been done on their end.
Well, there doesn't seem to be any way to get out of it either. I haven't seen anybody get out of it yet. It's like once you're on the list, it's a blacklist. They're done with you, and it's pretty much over.
A lot of people have also left their YouTube channels because of this shit, and then had to try and create new ones from scratch, only to find out that the same shit happens to them again. We should just become we should just do PewDiePie. Just do stupid videos that have nothing on here, and then we'll get really high ratings, and we have pretty much mindless self-indulgence going on, and they call that quality content as far as content creation is, we should just stream cat videos in loops.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. If you're not on the list, but if you're on the list, there's a guy with Jake Morphonios. Anyway, he got on their bad side and a bunch of strikes and everything, and just to prove that it's automated and it doesn't matter what you do once you're on the list, he did a streaming cat video, and they took it off and gave him we're trying to say shit. It's just like, dude, did you even look at the video? It's my fucking cat, man. It's a cat video. Even that doesn't save you. Once you're on the list, there's no way to back off and have a cat video even, They're done with you.
Oh, God.
Hell, even PewDiePie, he got into trouble for something a while back. They started demonetizing him and jacking with him a little bit. It just shows you, if you're not a good bootlicker and you don't lick fresh shit off of Mark Zuckerberg's boots, there's a problem. And, you're just not playing the game right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, he's a done platform, man. It's like, whatever. It's how it's gonna turn out.
Yeah, eventually something better, bigger and better is going to come along, and people will move to it, and then we'll end up with the same fucking problems as we had before.
Yeah, probably, but at least there'd be some place to go.
Yeah.
But we really do need to make Facebook like MySpace. Just be done with it. Just a mass move.
Even though we've been promoting the delete Facebook, there's still as many. There has been decline in the user thing, but it's not enough to really curb. The viewer. It's almost as though like. And I hate to say this to a lot of people that are on that platform, if you're still using, Facebook as your daily, you're just bending over backwards and taking it up the ass. That's literally what you're saying is like, hey, Mark, it's cool you sold my data. It's cool you lied to me. It's cool that I got to use a government ID, but I'm going to come back and take it more up the ass, Am I wrong?
No, that's unfortunately, yeah. Like hell, I mean, even I'm there. It's like just and trying to move off the damn platform, but it ain't easy, man. Like it's a little bit easier with YouTube, but man, I haven't really found anything with Facebook yet.
It's
where
just,
there's numbers and I don't know. It will happen. I just I got to believe that. I think their North American market is hurting, but overall worldwide they're still doing okay.
yeah.
But they have they're making money off that. Anytime somebody clicks that little thumbs up button or the pixels to some of the websites use Facebook pixels.
What's funny is the like button. They actually bought it. That wasn't originally created by any of the Facebook team. They bought it from some guy. At same with I believe Messenger. Messenger wasn't originally a Facebook product. They acquired it.
You know, and you would think, with the kind of people they can hire and all that, that wouldn't be that hard to create an app, but they're just not up to it. I guess they're too busy censoring everybody to actually
No, no. Remember what they
fund an
took.
app, create one or something.
Remember what they were telling Congress is that they were too busy building tools. Remember they told them that they were too busy building tools than to monitor their own fucking website. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Well, the problem is you could teach those. I mean, that's the problem with the leadership. It's like you expect to be, if you're old timers or whatever, but at least you need to know what's going on. But they're so out of touch. It's like you start talking computer stuff to them, and you can literally tell them a bunch of crap and they'll believe it. They've got no clue if you're lying to them or not. And that's how these guys get away with it. It's like, well, you had a couple of black gals or a bunch of conservatives saying they're getting censored, but it's like, oh well, Mark says he didn't do it. It's like, so what? I mean, anybody with a brain, if you really were that crafty of a lawyer, that sharp on your game, you would know he's lying. I mean, come on, just look at him.
You know what's crazy is that the Apple iOS store requires developers to post updates on what has been updated in the application, but somehow Facebook gets away with typing anything in their updates. In fact, it says we're making updates regularly every 2 weeks to guarantee. Like you can't. You really got to put. I think by the definitions of what the iOS web store, the App Store says, you're supposed to. You don't have to put in great detail about what was updated, but you kind of put, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how Facebook kind of gets away with that.
Yeah, and what's really the point of saying you're coming up with an update and then you don't do it and then you get caught not doing it? I mean, we already knew you were incompetent and an asshole, but it's just like, is there really some point to that? I mean, it's all just fake shit, man.
Let's see, what does Justin Windsor says? The Messenger app snoops on people. That is true, and that's why they made it a separate app. Justin, I'm not entirely sure about that, but there are some complete differences between. Yes, they could have completely integrated the Messenger app into the Facebook application, but here's the deal: is that the Messenger app is like this is the weird part, right? You think that they're kind of together. They are completely independent. In fact, so much so that you don't even need a Facebook profile to open up a Messenger account. That it does have limitations.
Right.
It does have limitations. That's why that's when they acquired it. But yes, the Messenger app, just like the Facebook application, does snoop on you just as much as any other. I believe it was on the Facebook Lite edition. Was it on Facebook Lite or was it Messenger Lite? There was a separate version of Facebook that had been developed for places specifically where there's only 3G and low grade access to or low bandwidth access to Facebook. So they developed the Lite application, and it was specifically on the Android version of it. It only came out for Android because it never came out on iOS. I think on iOS, that was reaching in and stealing text messages from the users. So when people were downloading their Facebook profiles, when this whole Cambridge Analytica situation happened, they noticed that their text messages were on there as well.
Yeah, he doesn't miss a beat, man. When he's selling your data, I mean, he just he just kind of. It's like, yeah, whatever you need, boys. Hey, I'll tell you what. Let's just make it real simple. Why don't you just copy all this raw data we got and you sort it, because we don't give a fuck and we don't have the time, Let's give it all to you.
Yeah. Justin. Go ahead.
Well, that's the same thing they do with the some of these guys that have gone to court, man. It's like they get all your data. It's like not a typical warrant where they're like specifying what they want. They just get all the data from Facebook and then they pick and choose, but they can pick and choose through all of it because there's really no limit to what they've been given, because they don't follow, a warrant process or any of that. So it's just, it's incredible what they get. So it's totally illegal, but it's just like, well, hey, just trust us. We won't throw anything else that we find in there. We're the good guys. We ain't going to do that.
What's funny is that Facebook acts like when they get in front of Congress, as Mark Zuckerberg, that they present as a chicken with their head cut off. That the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, but at the same time, through what I've heard over the years, is they were completely aware of what was going on. In fact, so much so to the point where it actually took this whole situation to kind of put that into light. They were completely aware of the leak back in 2015, or when Cambridge had got all the data. In fact, so much so that the CEO of WhatsApp had told them, who's now quit, had told them that, or both of them have, that they have to address this. It's at the same point when they're aware of all of these situations that are going on with their applications, when they're trying to cover their asses, they're doing it very sloppily. And what's funny is that everybody comes back for sloppy seconds and say, "Yes, sir, may I have another?"
They don't even have to be very good at what they're doing.
I don't believe so. I find I don't think that they're really good at what they're doing. In fact, I do spot, when I do have a profile, or I kind of use it for its kind of see what they've added. I spot errors all the time everywhere, and they kind of get left there until you start messaging them incandescent and over 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 again, or until it has to be reviewed, and then they fucking fix it,
Yeah, and they're not real responsive to anybody. Especially when they say there is no appeal process that's legitimate. You can really.
Remember, I had that video that wouldn't stop and it kept on streaming, and I had to report my own video. Yeah. I had to report my own video to make it stop because it went on for 8 hours.
Yeah, you found a bug in their system. That's right. I'd forgotten about that one.
Yeah, I went past the 4-hour mark and.
Oh, that's you should get paid for that. A Bonnie bug.
There is the white hat. You can create those fake profiles, so they encourage you to hack the Facebook profiles. The white hat. Do you have one of those? A white hat profile?
No.
I got one. I also have a developer, a Facebook developer profile. I really don't use it, but I have one. But yeah, there's a. I could probably send you the link, but they give you these fake profiles to try and pen test them.
I'll be damned.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how far you're gonna get, but
I guess you'd have to really love Facebook to try to help them fix their platform. after all the shit they've done to everybody.
That wouldn't help them at all. There's all sorts of hidden things on Facebook that the average user doesn't necessarily see or know that's there, but they're there. They're 100% there. So are these data acquiring tools, for ad content on, seeing who is clicking on what and how where it's going, you know. Why is this webpage laggy as fuck? Okay, this is really weird. I really need to reset my computer sometime today.
Clean your cache, clean out your cookies, your documentation. You should be good.
Well, I'm using a Core 7. But they have this new 8 Gen Core 7s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my processor. It's either the browser or the.
Well, you did say Windows was killing Windows.
What?
Windows is killing Windows, isn't it?
Well, yeah. They had that update to remember the processors because of that security flaw, and ever since then, I've seen Microsoft try and do some easy not hacking, but reordering how the operating system works. You know how they're using the flash load on, where it takes a snapshot of all the stuff that was loaded before and loads from that point, so that when the operating system loads up, it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to boot up from scratch. Kind of what iOS does. I've seen them do that kind of stuff to counteract what that update had done, because of the problem with the chips, with the Intel chips. But no, it's time for me to get another fucking computer. It really is. Let me see what is Jordan says.
Well, how does that solve? Well, getting a new one is just like you're into what you're into the same Intel and AMD chips, all the same problems. Intel doesn't seem to fix anything.
No. And the problem is, with most major brands, you're not going to be able to get those really, the really obscure chips. Unless you really know somebody, or you want to build a Frankenstein, which I don't have the money to do.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, it's not cheap, but AMD has its throwbacks, and Intel seems to have more bugs. I want to kind of see how these new 8 Gen chips are holding up, but I don't have the kind of money to drop on a completely new computer. So maybe building those Frankenstein desktops might be more feasible, or maybe getting an overhauled Raspberry Pi. Yeah, they use those atomic processors, right? Or at.
Let's see, where are they from? It's Broadcom.
Broadcom processors.
Yeah, some kind of ARM architecture. Yeah, I seen Linus talking about they're actually getting to the point where they're about ready to dump Intel chips because they're so fucked up, and just say, hey, we're just going to work with other architectures then, since you guys can't safeguard your chips. We can't patch your shit up in the kernel anymore because you're so screwed up.
Yeah, ever since they had that update with they had that problem with they originally found it on Linux with the Intel chips, and
well, something's going on there, man. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, they can't design nothing right.
Well, it seems like everything. It's like, if it gets too corporate and government related for too long, it always turns into that. It gets over bloated, not cutting edge, problems that never get fixed. That sounds like a classic government operation there.
Or shitty.
They don't have to. We're number one, so yeah, we can put out a piece of shit and you're going to buy it because there's nothing else.
It's Apple under the hood uses Intel, right? Yeah.
Boy, got me there.
Pretty sure they do. Google does the same thing. I don't like Facebook, honestly. I don't trust both of them. Yeah, Google does snoop on you.
Well, they say Google's got 9 or 10 times as much information as Facebook. That seems hard to believe, but then again, they're the guys in the middle looking at all the traffic. So, yeah.
They also sell it to the government at the whim of a threat or a lawsuit.
Oh yeah, yeah. They signed on a long time ago. So, yeah, they're another one. And honestly, I hate to badmouth Google, but because they put it, got some good free browsers and like the Hangouts and whatnot. But some of the other shit they do, man, it's hard to justify.
Right, they're actively helping the Pentagon with drone technology, with
AI or something.
Yeah, AI for the drones. Yep, good old Google involved in more.
Sure. Well, you look at Elon Musk; they're all going MIC and government, because you can guarantee your money for 40 years on that. You get on the right contract.
I remember there was even I was talking about that. There's even a protest within the company about getting involved with military contracts.
Well, it happens. I mean, sooner or later you have to do business with them some way, sell them software or whatever it is you're into. The government because the government uses just about everything in one way or another, even if it's food and water.
Yeah.
But it's just all these other chummy relationships that are shady. That hey, if you're selling them a product and you sell it to everybody, hey, that's legitimate business. But the rest of this stuff, where it's like, hey, we need your your customer list, because we really want to know who's buying. Let's see, you guys make storable foods, right? Yeah, or preppers, yeah. So we need your customer list, Oh, okay. Oh, you'll give us a couple of thousand. Yeah, sure, we'll sell them out for that. That's no problem, But that's what you're up against. People will sell you out for nothing. Hell, look at your politicians; they'll sell out the country for very low level campaign donations. They have no problem selling you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the morality has really slipped.
Yeah, it has. Well, Micro's going to sleep.
That's it.
All right, good
night. The big kahuna's leaving.
What else do we have to talk about? Let me see.
Yeah, it's kind of running out of stories here.
Yeah.
Well, we did the Space Force last time. The WhatsApp people leaving. Yeah, I just can't get along with Facebook. That's a big surprise.
Congressional Review Act. Prisoners release. Iran nuclear deal. Israel war. They pretty much got everything.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see anything here.
Yeah, we can end the show a little early. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to our show. We will be back on Facebook. If we're not here on this channel, we will be here on this Facebook page. You can also catch our videos on VK. All the links are in the Facebook description of the video. But if you can't find us on any of the platforms, I will be updating those description of the videos later on. And we will be back next Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and we will go out with the outro.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.